Now, the reason that I find this absolutely fascinating is that never before have I seen the head of a studio call out a YouTuber. Please correct me if you guys know of any other examples. In the past, I have seen them call out gaming publications. Like I've seen them call out game journalists, I've seen them call out Polygon and Kotaku, very rarely IGN, but even that happened. However, I never see the head of a studio actually call out a YouTuber over their takes regarding the video game. And the reason that this is important is that we notice a cultural shift where a lot of game developers are realizing that, you know what, game journalists can't sell our games. Like, if we make a deal with Asmongold, if we make a deal with Angry Joe or even the Actman, it's more likely that it can influence people's decision to buy our games. If Asmongold shits on our game, that's bad. And so managing PR relations is now a little bit more difficult because up until now it was done behind the stages with a publication. So like you talk with IGN in order to make sure that your game is getting good reviews. Maybe in exchange you buy some advertisement on their site. But now they're going to have to deal with a lot of content creators that aren't unionized. They're not working under a publication. Like just because, Asmongold likes your game doesn't mean that someone else like Rev said Desu isn't going to shit on your game. And this is why probably this gentleman here that's responsible for the game Kingdom Come is talking about this because he's trying to do PR damage. And the whole thing started with their game being accused of having an unskippable homosexual cutscene. Apparently, the rumors were false. The idea that Saudi Arabia banned their game for that unskippable cutscene was something that even I fell for. Because two different publications reported on it, and it was actually trending on Twitter. So I thought, okay, well, that's worth talking about it. But then I realized that no, it's a fake, and I immediately corrected myself. However, the author himself, Mr. Vavra, he decided to have an interview where he said, like, no, there are no such unskippable cutscenes. Like, yes, we have gay people in it, like we had gay people in the first game as well. And there's also a black person in the game. And this caused a lot of people to call the game woke. And as I explained before, there's now a huge backlash against DEI. There's a huge backlash against wokeness. And what's being tolerated in video games is becoming less and less. And I predicted this back in 2019, I believe, when I said, like, remember where you had, like, lesbian scenes in Mass Effect 2? And no one would call that woke because the woke ideology didn't even exist yet. At least not mainstream. And I said the backlash would make it so that even that isn't allowed. Like, the backlash is going to be so exaggerated because the woke people have pushed so hard that you are going to come to a time where it's going to be the one-drop rule. Like, even, like, having a single gay character in the game will be enough for some people to not buy it. And I think, like, this is also a transitory issue. Like, it's probably going to be a couple of years like this, and then it's going to try to regulate itself to a more acceptable level. But again, like, you cannot take games that people love, like Dragon Age, and butcher them to the point where you get Dragon Age the Failguard, because it's going to reflect poorly on the entire game industry. And, like, I made the video where I said that I personally don't believe that Kingdom Come 2 is woke. Like, it's not enough, and I think that it will sell. And I pointed out how Baldur's Gate 3 is a lot more woke than Kingdom Come, and it did sell. So, please hold my video for posterity to see if I was right or not. But still, like, apparently some wish lists have indeed been cancelled over this. Now, I understand why some people don't want to buy games that have gay themes in it, because initially I was like, well, so what if it's got, like, some optional gay thing in it? And a person asked me, it's like, V, can you name me a game that was made in the last 5 years that doesn't have gay characters in it? And I was struggling. It's like, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, it's my choice what I do with my money. If I don't want to buy a game that has that, like, why should I be forced? And I couldn't find an answer to that. And so, like, if people don't want that in their game, you can be fine with gay people in real life, but that doesn't mean you have to pay to see them kissing on your screen. So I get it, like I really do. But other than that, it seems that Vavra has gotten into another controversy since last we spoke. He managed to get a community manager from hell. And on Steam now, they have a new code of conduct which goes like well and beyond even the Californian mindset, where you can't be hateful to people based on class, you can't make fun of people for being fat, like a lot of fucking nonsense that has nothing to do in the gaming community. And a lot of people are like, okay, did you hire the mother to mommy up the place? Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, where did you get this community manager? And so far, Vavra hasn't responded to these accusations, but I'm pretty sure that the community managers that, either insult customers or try to sanitize places are becoming more and more unpopular. And so, refusing to answer this probably caused some people unwishlisting the game. Now, the interesting thing is that the game probably still has a lot of wish lists, but it could have had more. And Rev says Desu is being attacked here because he actually did report that some of the wish lists have been canceled, and the reason he made this report is that it's in game outlets, like gaming outlets have reported this. And Daniel Vavra calls him a grifter. Our pre-orders haven't dropped because of the backlash. The sold return copies ratio is the same as it was. What happened is that the preview hype has naturally waned and 9 massively discounted games entered the chart. Monster Hunter is one of them. So Rev says, like, labeling me a grifter in a video where I defend your game for being labeled woke over a rumored game scene is wild. Yes, people canceled pre-orders. Many did because you won't address the actions of the community manager code of conduct. And like, this is true because we actually see these people on Twitter showing that they canceled the wish list, and they say the reason we canceled it is because of the code of conduct. I mean, come on. Do we not believe our eyes anymore? Like, are we supposed to pretend that it doesn't exist? I understand that, it's difficult for a game developer, especially one of the size of Daniel Vavra, to constantly have to address this nonsense because we are in a transitionary phase between two cultures. Like, a year ago, it was required to behave like this, and now people have suddenly shifted and they're like, you know what, no, we don't want to buy games like that. And so, like, when you're trapped in the middle and you're releasing your game, like, during the pendulum swinging, like, yeah, I get it. It's really difficult because you gotta please both sides. You gotta please the people that work in your company, which are probably more code of conduct oriented, let's put it like this. And then you have to please the customers on Twitter that aren't. So he says that your game has a lot of pre-orders, but it would have had more if you didn't tiptoe around valid concerns. Seeing you cash out over someone pointing this out is exactly why people are losing trust in you. And here you have Grooms talking about this as well. Woke Kingdom Come Deliverance to Backlash results in mass pre-order refunds as developer loses trust, right? Like, the headline is here. And the difference is that Rev says Desu actually says, well, hold on, like, it's not woke. And so this goes into this massive spurk out where Vavra says, sorry, but maybe don't use titles with phrases that have massive exodus. And it's like, okay, I mean, maybe the clickbait nature upsets you, the sensationalism. I suppose, YouTubers have to compete with other content creators, so like sometimes you come up with titles like this, but like take into account that the YouTuber doesn't sit like 30 minutes to think of a title. Especially like if you're making more than one video a day, you're like, okay, what would a good title for this story be? And if it's reported in the outlet, as Grooms showed, that there's a lot of pre-orders that have been canceled, then yeah, you're going to use the word massive. But if you listen to the video, it was definitely a video defending him. And then he goes on and says, like, telling people not to pre-order games they have concerns about is now grifting. I dispelled the rumors about this game being woke, and people resonated with it. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Log off. So now he's spurging off with the content creator. I don't think you should do this as a game developer. It's like spurging out with the journalist. Like, the journalist always has more ink. And their voice is actually louder. So, I mean, my advice would be to take this into DMs. Because from my personal experience, most content creators aren't grifters. Like, they genuinely believe the stuff they're saying. I don't know why people assume that we don't believe the stuff we're saying. Like, do you honestly think that we enjoy DEI games? Like, we go online and we bash on DEI games, but then when we're offline, we play them? Like, no, most content creators absolutely believe what they're saying. And they're, like, good intended people. Like, they're good natured, they have good intentions. And if you message them and you say, like, hey, your title was wrong, like, this is not the case, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, if you don't want to message them in DMs, you can do so publicly. But, like, usually when you do it publicly, like, there's other bad actors and other people that may get in the conversation. But I think, like, you can make it on Twitter so that only you and the content creator can interact with that conversation. So, like, you can have it in the open if you want. And just talk to him normally and say, like, hey, I think, like, this aspect of your title is wrong. Can you please change it? And I guarantee to you, like, most content creators, if they think you have a point, and they realize, okay, maybe I exaggerated, or maybe the thumbnail wasn't good, they will change it. There's no point in sparking out with a journalist, because, like, at the end of the day, this is what a content creator is now. It's actually more powerful than a journalist. Like, there's only 2 people reading Kotaku, but if I'm not mistaken, Rev has almost 1 million subscribers, right? So it's like, come on, do the math. The thing with the content creators, you know, like, they are also beholden by their audience. Like, if they start lying, if they start slandering, if they start manipulating, eventually the audience unsubscribes. That is literally what happened with the gaming publications. Like, people realize that, hold on a little bit, like, these gaming publications are telling us to buy games that we don't like. And this is, like, something that a lot of content creators have to go through. Do you know, like, when I said that your game isn't woke, because I'm pretty sure if he watched Rev, he will probably watch other. So in the case, like, Vavra watches this. Like, when I said your game isn't woke, I got pushback against it. Like, a lot of people were upset. It's like, what do you mean it's not woke? It's got gay people in it. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's woke. And that's my opinion, right? And I want to make sure that people know when they watch my channel, if I tell them this game is going to sell, that I want them to know that I'm saying that not because that's what they want to hear, but because I'm using my expertise and watching the industry for more than 10 years and making this prediction based on what I know, regardless of what I think should happen. Like, I'm telling people, it's like, okay, this game will sell. Just stop trying to believe that it won't, because it will. And if I'm wrong, you know, I'm beholden to my subscribers, because, like, these videos are recorded. When the game comes out, if it doesn't sell, people can show me the video and be like, V, you were a twat. I'll be like, holy shit, I was. But I don't think that will happen. So yeah, I'm genuinely curious if we're going to see more of this. More developers spurging out at YouTubers. That's going to be an interesting year, 2025, right? Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.